my earliest memory of writing a story, gosh, I always wrote, even when I was very, very little. I mean, the first one I remember putting all together was in probably the 5th grade. We had a little bookmaking section of our gifted program. That's what 70s teaching was like. And it was about, I think it was about koala bears. I don't remember why. I don't particularly like them. But I think, let's say that. It's probably my first complete story that I remember is that one, 5th grade. Let's just say I'm really proud of the end. I'm really proud of the last page of Ness. Endings are very important. I don't know, I think the perfect reader for More Than This is kind of the person who reads how most modern people read these days, which is, I think the boundaries between age groups is more porous than it used to be. I think the boundaries between genres are more porous than they used to be. And so, gosh, you can so play with that now. You can thwart expectation. I mean, there's a big part of More Than This that is an adventure, but then there's a part after that that says, are you sure? Are you sure that that was the adventure that you think it was? And I suppose the perfect reader is one willing to take a risk, one willing to take a chance, one willing to say, all right, I'm not quite sure where this is going, but let's see. And I kind of think if you ask most modern readers, I think that's what most modern readers are like and what they want. I hope. The best piece of advice I was ever given, and the one that I always give because I always get asked about reading advice, is as simple and impossible as write a book that you want to read yourself. Because you'd be amazed at how many people don't. They write because they think a publisher will like this. Or they write because they think there's a bunch of vampire books. Still, it's amazing. They're undying. They truly are undying. There are still vampire books. And they think I better write one of those because that's what people are reading. But the so vital bit of information is that nobody was looking for the first Harry Potter book. If you'd asked them what they were looking for, they wouldn't have said Harry Potter, and yet, boom. Nobody was looking for the first Twilight. Nobody was looking for the first Hunger Games. But all those people did is they wrote a book that they wanted to read, and they didn't care about market, they didn't care about publishing, they just put all of their joy of telling this amazing story, no matter how weird it was, into a book. And I think a reader may not be able to put their finger on that, but I think they can sense that it's there. I think they can tell that there's joy in the writing. So 100%, no matter how weird you think your idea is, write what you want to read, and people will come to it. Well, the reaction to More Than This has been not quite what I expected, because I thought I left the book purposely open, and it is about living with uncertainty. It's about figuring out who you are, who your friends are, and who you trust, and who you love, and what's valuable, and that there is always more. But I kind of thought people would tend towards one particular interpretation. I thought they would tend towards the sort of the most positive. But the surprise has been how much people argue about it, which is great. I love that. I love a book you can argue about, and I have I know one where a mother and daughter completely disagreed and demanded that I settle the argument over who was right, and I refused. Of course I refused. I know how I feel about the book. I know what I think happens. But it's been just, and I love that about a book. I love that when I read a book, so I'm so happy about that. I'm so thrilled. And I've also been really, really thrilled about how people identify with Seth. About everybody seems to identify with Seth. That he's a particular kind of kid. But that hasn't stopped teenagers from embracing him from all walks of life, and that's really heartening. Nobody ever brings it up, which is great, and that's been, I don't know, maybe the world has changed a bit, and that's really good. But the arguments and the demands that I be the tiebreaker and say you're right or you're right, and I'll never do that, so don't ask. That's been great. I love that. I'm so happy about that. Particularly with something like A Monster Calls, I get lots and lots of private reactions of, I was in this situation when I was young, or I've been in this situation with my children, when their father died, or I've been ill. And those are amazing, absolutely amazing, and so moving, and so private. And I really don't like to share those specifically, because I think reading is a private, personal thing. And these people have had this private reaction, which I'm so lucky to have them share with me, And I don't want to then broadcast it to the world, if you see what I mean. So I know the best reactions are the private ones. I think the funniest question, the weirdest question I've ever been asked was I was speaking at a great big school, and a lad put up his hand and said, "Have you ever suffered a serious injury?" And I said, "Have you ever suffered a serious injury?" And he went, "Yeah." He just wanted to talk about it. And I remember that until the day I stopped writing, I think.